And the two kids who got their roles should probably be the marshals. In the front.
They're just holding them. Oh, Fletcher died. That was a special job. Louise reminded me when we were juniors. We were on we saw the gladiators. Where they do the teachers. Yeah.
national anthem will now be sung by LHS junior Mia Clements.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Mia Clements. You can be seated. Thank you. Superintendent Clenchey, Chairman McCarthy, members of the school committee, members of the Board of Selectmen, honored guests, faculty, parents, friends, and graduates of the class of 2024. Good evening, and welcome to the beautiful night, the 137th commencement of Littleton High School. Thank you for joining us here on Alumni Field for an evening of appreciation, celebration, and joy. On behalf of the class of 2024, I thank you, Mrs. Kern, Mrs. McCook, Mrs. Bridge, Mr. Bentley, Mr. Fernandez, Mrs. Yoder, Mrs. Benulo, and most especially Mrs. Gilmore, for all your support and effort in preparing for this graduation ceremony. On behalf of our graduates and community, I want to take a moment to express our heartfelt thanks to fellow Littleton educators, teachers, custodians, cafeteria workers, school committee members, and so many community members. Your work and support help us navigate each school year. Please join me in a round of applause for our educators and staff members across the district. Special recognition today goes to retiring LHS, or LPS really, English language learner teacher, Mrs. Sue Pettengill. Your legacy lives on in the students you have taught and guided. Thank you for your years of dedication and skillful teaching. Bona Bradshaw will come forward. Mrs. Pettengill's right over there, Bona, and present a bouquet to Mrs. Pettengill. Sue, would you please stand so Bona can see you? We also recognize a graduate this year who will serve our country in the future. Victoria McCoy will attend Howard University in Washington, D.C. with a full Marine Corps Naval ROTC scholarship. Victoria, would you please stand to be recognized? And once again, we especially express our tremendous appreciation to Littleton Scholarship Trust and so many donors for supporting Littleton students and alumni. This year, the Trust awarded over $150,000 in scholarships to members of the class of 2024 and a total of $195,000 when including LHS alumni. If you received a scholarship from the Trust, please stand now and be recognized. Thank you very much. Class of 2024, with special focus and energy over the last year, you along with your parents have been discussing and planning for your life after high school and the next steps in your immediate future. At the same time, we as a high school staff have spent considerable time and effort over the last year discussing and creating a vision for the Littleton High School graduate. It is our hope that we have helped you make significant strides and milestones while striving to realize this vision. We hope you have become more careful critical thinkers and effective communicators, more skillful collaborators, engaged citizens, and mindful learners, and more attentive to your health and wellness as graduates who will continue to strengthen and demonstrate their skills. At this turning point today, you can reflect on past experiences and cherished memories and look ahead, envisioning the future you. This past month, as I thought about some words to share today, I found inspiration in a book I recently read. Your Future Self, How to Make Tomorrow Better Than Today. Better Today. Again, Your Future Self, How to Make Tomorrow Better Today, by Hal Hershfield. In a key chapter, Hershfield described financial service firms and banks creating websites and ads that focus on our future lives and use taglines like, "Make your future proud." He also described studies where researchers use virtual reality and age-progressed digital images of future selves to see the influence it would have on young people's decisions about health and wellness activities and financial savings. In addition, Hershfield showcased how a sixth grade teacher assigned students to the task of writing a letter to their grade 12 selves. The teacher later seals the letters and sends them to the students in their senior year. Hershfield recalled that reading the letters from their past selves prompted many of the students to rethink their current paths and revisit the goals they'd set for themselves all those years ago. They readjust, realign, and look forward to the ensuing years in a more realistic way. Among the key highlights in his book, Hershfield notes how stronger connections to our distant selves are linked to positive outcomes, enhanced financial well-being, a greater likelihood to exercise, better grades, and a better psychological well-being. The book spotlights how the future version of ourselves will appreciate the way the good decisions and actions we made in the present led to a positive impact and outcome in the future. The recent financial literacy fair for seniors underscored this point and provided a unique opportunity for you all to think about financial wellness, and it may have served as a startling wake-up call for some to the reality of personal finance and adult responsibilities. Thank you, Mrs. Abate and Mrs. He, for coordinating and facilitating this important event. An intriguing thought exercise mentioned in the book is to imagine a distant future version of yourself and think what your future self might advise you today. Another simple and practical approach, consider talking with your parents, grandparents, family members, mentors, teachers, and people whom you admire and trust. Seek their guidance and ask, what would they advise their younger selves if they could go back 10, 15, 20 years? We all know that we benefit from remaining attentive to aspirations and future goals. At the same time, and more importantly, we also understand how essential it is to stay mindful of the present, savor the moment, and enjoy the now, while not obsessing about future ambitions that may likely change as we change over time. As Hershfield writes, we can't know what our day-to-day lives will be like. We can't know what we will think and feel, since these thoughts and feelings may change drastically once we turn into our future selves. Parents and adults in attendance here today, upon reflection of their different life stages, can attest to the experience of changing perspectives, attitudes, expectations, relationships, and goals over time. What we once thought could be, would be, and should be may have changed as we have We matured and learned from life's unanticipated experiences, surprising vicissitudes, and welcomed serendipity. Continue to use and optimize the skills you have strived to learn at LHS, and keep in mind the salient point from the Future You book. Make tomorrow better today. Our hopes for your future selves include good health, happiness, friendship, beneficial education and meaningful work, prosperity, appreciation, kindness, joy, and of course, love. As I have said to previous graduates, walk ahead with faith, confidence. Know that we believe in you and are optimistic about what you will accomplish and contribute in your future. With that said, today we mark the culmination of your Littleton schooling and a commencement of a continued journey. On behalf of the faculty of Littleton High School, I congratulate you all, and now please give a warm welcome to our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Kelly Clenchy.
Good evening, graduates, distinguished guests, families, administration, and staff. Today, we have come together as a community to celebrate your remarkable achievements, the culmination of hard work, dedication, and perseverance. We are incredibly proud of your accomplishments and are excited to celebrate with you today. Today marks a special day, a milestone in your life's journey, the end of a chapter, and it signals the beginning of something brand new, something exciting and unknown. But make no mistake about it, you are ready to write a new chapter that will be unique to you. You will decide on the main themes and fill out the blank pages as you continue your life journey. You will control the narrative and tell your own unique story. In the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson, life is about the journey, not the destination. As you refine your unique gifts and discover new passions, your stories will begin to unfold. Your journey may consist of twists and turns and will likely require a few redirections. This is normal. Life is not a linear journey, but every experience will have meaning and help guide you. As you stand on the cusp of this new chapter, I want to leave you with a charge that will serve you well in the coming years. Be kind and be good citizens. Kindness is a powerful foundation upon which we build strong relationships, compassionate communities, and a better world. It is the bridge that spans differences, heals hurts, and lifts each other up. Kindness is not a virtue reserved for the weak, but a strength that requires courage, empathy, and heart. One of the many strengths of this year's graduating class is their commitment to kindness and compassion. Kindness and compassion are paramount to creating a fairer world that treats everyone equally and unites people instead of dividing them. As good citizens, you hold a significant responsibility to make a positive impact in your communities and by extension, the world at large. It's about being active participants, standing up for what is right, and striving for justice and equality. You have the power to shape the future, change the status quo, and create a world that's more just, more equitable, and more compassionate. As you continue your journey, remember that your actions, big or small, can make a difference. Be kind to one another, lift each other up, and never forget the power of compassion and empathy. In the words of Nelson Mandela, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Graduates, you have acquired the necessary knowledge, skills, and values to make a positive impact. It's your time to go out there and change the world, one act of kindness at a time. Congratulations, class of 2024. We are so proud of you and have no doubt that you are destined to do great things. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Clenchy. And now for School Committee Chair, Justin McCarthy.
Good evening. It is with great honor and privilege that I have the opportunity to say a few words this evening. To the class of 24, thank you for having me. 24 years ago, I did not speak at my own high school graduation, so I'm excited to be here. I promise to keep it short. Now you can all be excited to be here. That was a joke. As I thought about what I wanted to say tonight, of course, I landed on wanting to share a few pieces of advice. I know it's rather generic, but these 3 pieces of advice are important to me and have a little something to do with me being here this evening. The first was a piece of advice that was shared at my own high school graduation. It was to live your life like your mother is looking over your shoulder. In general, I believe people are good. They want to do right by society. They want to be successful in their professional life and at home too. 99% of the time, you'll probably do the right thing. But of course, opportunity presents itself, and we all fall victim to making the wrong decision from time to time. It is during these times that if you remember this advice, you'll be thankful. The world would be a better place if we all just lived our lives like our mother was looking over our shoulder. I know the moms here all agree tonight. The interesting thing about this is I have a very vague memory of hearing this advice at my own graduation from the speaker. I was probably too consumed by the moment, like all of you. Wasn't really paying close attention. It wasn't until after graduation when my father said to me he really liked what the speaker had to say about living your life that it struck a chord with me. Up until then, I had received plenty of advice. Think about it for a moment. In your 12 years of schooling, how much advice you've received from family, friends, coaches, teachers, etc. Tons. My father validating someone else's advice hit home with me. So to the parents and loved ones in the audience, keep giving advice, but perhaps validating someone else's advice might be the most effective strategy. The second piece of advice is to say yes and figure it out later. This is the piece of advice that put me here tonight. As I was preparing to say a few words this evening, I was asking family and friends and coworkers if they had any ideas, what I should say, and someone recently heard, say yes and figure it out later. And I thought to myself, that's kind of what I do. That's how I've been living my life. I'll admit it, not perfectly. I'm a wicked procrastinator. I wrote this morning. And I could use a little mom looking over my shoulder from every now and then. But when opportunity presents itself, say yes and figure it out later. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, but it's how you use them that makes a difference. If given the opportunity of a difficult assignment at school or at work, take it. You'll figure it out. And even if it doesn't go perfectly, you'll be a better person for having tried and be better prepared for the next go-around. Experience as much as you can. See that friend. Take that trip. Volunteer for that organization as life moves too quickly. As you age, I can promise you this, life just moves faster and faster. It's been 24 years since my own high school graduation, and it's been a blur, but I've had some tremendous experiences. I know that the culture of volunteerism is strong within Littleton Public Schools, and I encourage you to continue with that in your next phase of life. So if you could help out, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you choose to make a meaningful impact in the lives of others? It's probably best to choose a few organizations that you're passionate about and make a meaningful impact as opposed to just being a body. The world has plenty of bodies. We need doers. Not only will you be helping the organization, but you'll meet some terrific people in the process. I receive a great deal of satisfaction at work and in my personal life helping other people. If someone has a problem that I can't fix, I'll say, let me see if I can find the right person to help you with that. I probably know someone who has worked through this problem before, or I know someone who can fix that for you. It's amazing what you can do when you build a network of people you know, like, and trust. It's important to know people, but it's even more important that people know you. The last piece of advice is directly to the class, and it's quick, and you can use this in the next 30 minutes. Don't rush the important stuff. Shortly, each of you is going to hear your name called, and you're going to walk across the stage and receive your diploma. You worked hard to be here. I know every one of you was challenged many times over the course of your K-12 education to be here tonight. As you walk across the stage, don't rush it. If you can, Look into the crowd and find your family and friends. Enjoy the moment. We'll all wait the extra 1 or 2 seconds tonight so that you can have your time. As you receive your diploma, pause. Give Dr. Harrington a nice handshake and smile for your photo. This is important. I want your family to have a nice memory from this. I'll be watching from the handshake line. From the entire school committee, we wish you the best of luck in your next journey. Congratulations. We are all very, very proud of you.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. And now we'll turn to Mrs. Bridge and the LHS Chorus and Band for some music. President, Sydney Babers, who will give some greetings to the audience and the class.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for being here to celebrate the graduation of Littleton High School's class of 2024. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sydney Babers, and I have had the pleasure of being the class of 2024 class president for the past 3 years now. Let me be the first to say that I can't believe this day is finally here. As someone who has personally been experiencing senioritis since the end of junior year, graduation is definitely feeling more bittersweet than I imagined it would. I'm sure I'm not alone in admitting that I've been counting down the days for a while, but now that we're finally here, I wish the 4 years didn't go by quite so fast. Our time at LHS has certainly been special. We started out in 2020, the unprecedented times. This was obviously a difficult time for all of us for a variety of reasons. We dealt with the loss of our passions, playing our favorite sports, seeing our friends, and most importantly, the loss of the $200 DC trip deposit. But on a more serious note, these were some pretty dark times for many of us, and looking back now, it really is amazing how we all came together to make it through. We had drive-by birthday parties, tried not to laugh when we saw each other making funny faces over Zoom, and maybe even helped each other out a little bit with assignments too. I would never ever say that cheating is okay, but there is something about someone you haven't talked to since the 4th grade sending you the answers to that day's Spanish work that is really beautiful to me. Freshman year was definitely the reason my GPA got as high as it got. Maybe. Coming from someone who has been a member of the Littleton class of 2024 since I moved here in 3rd grade, I know I am qualified to brag about how spectacular we really are. We are a group of talented artists, state-ranked athletes, award-winning academics, and so much more. I'm sure all of the LHS teachers and faculty would agree in saying that we have a unique passion among all of us. We've always made sure that our voices were heard no matter who was there to listen. This passion has won us state championships, brought us to present in front of local government, and landed us spots on the honor roll. Even if some of us didn't make it this year because those daily AP Calc quizzes were just a little bit too hard. Sorry, Ms. Elmore. In fact, we are just so darn passionate that our game of Senior Assassins had to get canceled after just a week. We just got a little too excited. One of the most important things my time at LHS has taught me is that it takes a village, and there's too many people for me to properly thank them all during this speech. I'd like to start by thanking the workers at the Dunkin' Donuts across from the high school. You guys are the real heroes for dealing with countless tired teenagers first thing in the morning. But on a more serious note, I need to thank my parents for always being in my corner and letting me know that it's okay to fail. It's how you keep trying that really matters. I need to thank my friends, who I know are always there for me and have never let me feel alone. I'd like to thank Mrs. Yoder and Mrs. Gilmore in the front office for dismissing me all 52 times this year. And Mr. Camo for always seeing my emails. I didn't say responding, but it's okay. It still is nice to feel seen. I need to thank all of my science teachers for instilling a love for science in me and inspiring me to pursue a career in healthcare, and to all of my history teachers for teaching me to stay curious and the value of studying different perspectives. I need to thank Mrs. Barry for driving me and the rest of the quiz show team around Boston more times than I can count at this point, and my advisory teacher, Mrs. Perry. Mayor Bear, we had a bit of a rough start the first few years, but ultimately I came around and realized we really were the best advisory ever, and I truly appreciate all of your guidance. Last but not least, I owe a huge thank you to our class advisors, Mrs. Kern and Mrs. McCook. They are two of the They are two of the kindest, most genuine people I've ever had the pleasure of working with, and I am so grateful to have gone through high school with their support. They aided me and the other class officers, Ty, Aria, and Bhuvana, through things that I never imagined could be so difficult, like planning the junior auction and prom, events that took years off of, I think, all of our lives, with a smile on their face. I've taken 2 different math classes with Mrs. Kern at this point, and have spent basically every flex block morning sitting in her room chatting. Thank you for always making me laugh and giving me the best advice, even when I was being difficult and didn't want to hear it. You can make even the biggest curmudgeon crack a smile. I truly am grateful to have grown up here, and I know I'll look back on my high school years fondly. No matter where I go and what I do, I know I can always come back and call Littleton home, which is a gift not many people are lucky to have.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you very much. And now our salutatorian, Ms. Lisa Hood, will come forward. You got it. Too many chords.
Cords are coming off. So much sabotage.
Oh, you got a cut.
Oh my God.
I got it.
Minor wardrobe malfunction. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Lisa Hood, and I'm honored to be here today to celebrate with you all. From a young age, I have been both a dreamer and a planner. And so, from a young age, I have tried to picture what the rest of my life will look like. 8 days before my 11th birthday, I wrote myself a letter. This letter. In it, I wrote, "Dear me, I hope life is good." And then I proceeded to ask myself a series of questions. Do I still like math? Yes, I do. Did I get into college? I'm happy to say I did. Do I still play the clarinet? It has been sitting in my closet untouched since probably around the time I wrote this letter. And then, do I finally know what I want to be when I'm older? I think that question, what do you want to be when you grow up, has been on a lot of our minds lately. A question I think a lot of us are pretty sick of answering at this point. I'm sure you've all written enough essays on the topic to last you a lifetime. If you asked me when I was 8, I would have told you I wanted to be a singer. At 11, I wanted to be a physicist, like my dad. At 13, a lawyer. If you asked me last month, I probably would have said, "Stop talking to me, I'm studying." I've never been certain. The girl who wrote this letter was uncertain. The girl who's reading it is uncertain too. But I've been doing some thinking, and I think I've finally come to a conclusion. When I grow up, I don't want to be a singer or a physicist or a lawyer. When I grow up, I want to be kind. I want to be curious. I want to be confident and creative and wise. To be honest, I've forgotten a lot of the plans I made when I was younger. And 10 years from now, if we're all back here for a reunion, I might not remember what you planned to study or what career you plan to go into. I will remember the times you made me laugh. I will remember the times you invited me to sit at your lunch table or help me with my homework. I will remember that you were smart and funny and joyful. I have spent so much of my life agonizing over the idea of when I grow up. I've been paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong choice, by the need to fit who I am into a box that can be tied up with a neat little bow and labeled as an artist or a teacher or a politician. I have tried and failed to plan each year of my life down to a T based on some arbitrary idea of what it means to be successful. But there is no map to life at the beginning of it telling you where you can go. You can't plan your route ahead of time. All you can do is pick a direction at each fork in the road and trust that you will end up somewhere beautiful. Maybe it's not where you think you're supposed to be or where you intended to be, but it will be beautiful because of the steps you took to get there. Your life is not a commitment you make when you turn 18. It's not a major you choose or a job you can get. Honestly, life might be a lot simpler if it were. But life is not simple. It's messy and confusing. It's a choice you make, a choice you get to make every day to be the person you want to be, not make plans about the person you one day might become. You make little choices, like the choice to smile at a stranger or hug your best friend or write your future self a letter, and big choices, like the choice to leave everything you know behind and go to college or get a job. Some days you make bad choices, and that's okay too. You choose to learn and grow and be resilient. You choose to take your time, to trust yourself, to be authentic and unapologetic. Today, you are making a choice to be brave, and that is one of the greatest choices anyone can make. So I ask you today to take a break from planning your future and start living it. I mean, this is the day we've been planning for all these years. You already have everything you need to be the person you want to be. I ask you today and tomorrow and every day after that to choose to be brave, choose to be kind and confident and unapologetic, choose to be messy and resilient, choose to define yourself not by the place you end up, but by the journey you took to get there. That journey starts today. I may not know what your journey looks like or mine, but I know that it will be beautiful. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2024.
Thank you, Lisa. And now we'll have our valedictorian, Nadia Pavlov, come forward and deliver her remarks. Thank you.
Good afternoon, faculty, families, friends, and fellow graduates. As the valedictorian, it's an honor to have you all at our graduation ceremony. Today is a day for looking backwards on our childhood and looking forward towards our future. Last week, during our senior parade, as we all drove together through our little town, so many memories came back to me. King Street, where our high school stands, Castle in the Trees that our town built together, Shattuck Street, the old home of our library, Littleton Common with all the pictures of us seniors, Goldsmith Street leading up to Shaker Lane, Russell Street, where we are now. All these names make the story of our childhood. We all share the memories of growing up in this precious little place called Littleton, and I would not trade it for any other town. As we drove in the parade, parents cheered us along the whole route. Teachers and students met us enthusiastically at each school we visited. People came out of their homes to applaud us, even if they didn't know us personally. Our town police directed traffic to let us go through. The whole town had come together for our special day. I felt an overwhelming sense of community. Our town might be small, but it's full of people with big hearts. Each of us has a unique story to tell and different people to be grateful for. But I'm sure my gratitude is shared by many present here. Thank you, Dr. Clunchy, Superintendent of Littleton, for doing the best for our schools. I'm sure the dilemma of whether or when to announce a snow day at 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. haunts you every winter, because whatever you do, half the people will say it was too early, and half the people will say it was too late. As for me personally, I was up for a snow day at any time. While it's impossible to please everybody, I knew this town and its administration cared about us, the students, and had our best interests in mind. Thank you, Dr. Harrington, for being a wonderful principal, especially during these troubled times when many feel like public education is not going in the right direction, and knowing many concerning stories from different towns, cities, and states. I feel incredibly grateful for having such a thoughtful, kind, and professional principal, and as a result, a positive atmosphere in our school and successful students. You have always balanced the responsibility of running the school with being accessible, considering, and available to talk, remaining personal and caring with each student. I especially want to thank Mr. Christie. I can't imagine the last 4 years without you. I know every student sitting here and every parent as well agrees with me when I say thank you for all of your endless support. You helped us pick our classes every year and get into AP Classroom every time it crashed. You helped us apply to colleges in September and decide where to go in May. But what you did goes beyond that. You were always ready with a smile and a joke, ready to comfort us when we were down, and listen to us when we had a lot on our minds. Anytime anything happened, I knew I could come into your office, which is amazing, every last inch covered with posters and pictures and Superman statues. Get my thoughts together and get valuable advice and support. You are a Superman to all of us. Having a school with a brand name or a large student body isn't what makes kids succeed. It's having teachers who care for them and are ready to do anything to help them learn. Our school has many wonderful teachers, and I can't name them all, but I want to say a special thank you to the ones who made my story successful, helping me become an independent, strong, and hardworking person. Ms. Berry, you were my English teacher freshman year and a mentor and friend for the rest. I will always cherish our time together, reading poetry or Dickens, or talking about life. I always know I can come to you for comfort or advice. Ms. Rigo, thank you for dealing with me for all 4 years as well. Besides giving me a strong foundation in math and preparing me for the rigors of calculus, you became a close friend to confide in, whether I was feeling silly or stressed, every FlexBlog period. Mr. Gillen, your passion for chemistry inspired me to learn and fall in love with the subject. Your enthusiasm sparked our interest in studying chemistry further, and I'm so glad you were eager to teach us organic chemistry this year. I always came into your class knowing my mind was going to be blown, and any question I asked, you would answer like an expert. Thank you for showing us just how fascinating science can be. Ms. Elmore, your skill at explaining the complex topics of calculus was priceless, instilling confidence in myself and preparing me for a career in engineering. And it was always so fun to have Archie in class. Thank you. As I look around the field today, I feel such a strong feeling of being home. I am so grateful to this town and our community for my childhood. I know that wherever life takes us, we will all have a very special place for Littleton deep in our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadia. Time for the moment we've all been waiting for, the presentation of diplomas. Class advisors, Mrs. Kerr and Mrs. Cook, will come forward to read the names of the graduates of the class of 2024.
Nadia Pavlov. Lisa Kate Hood. Sydney Ray Babers. Manthan Acharya. Catherine Allen. Cameron Anderson. Catherine Anjorian. Oh, wait. Naisha Aponte Rodriguez. Tyler Arthur. Daniel M. Ballard. Emily Ann Balzotti. Zaina Barros. Walter Bates House. Eliza Bean. Tyler George Ballou. Ella Grace Bergeron. Margaret Ann Berlinger. Emmanuel Betanzos Villalobos. Michael P. Blake. Helen Hope Bottenhorn. Mubashir Isaac Bradshaw. Alondra Brembila. Aiden Brantley. Chloe Buckaloo. Luke Beretta. Clementine Burns. Spencer Nicholas Cowett. Corinne Marie Carroll. Gage Carroll. Yeah, the cap's good. Clarice Carter. Tyler James Castillo. Daniel Thomas Christmas. Aaron R. Conlon. Grace R. Capola. Erica Catherine Cormier. Alana E. Deacon. Alana Jane Delalis. Carter J. Dion. Lily Grace Doucette. Caitlin Drew. Nadia Lynn Dupuy. Samra Ishao. Arcadia Jane Evans. Jamie Lynn Constance Flannery. Elijah Fornicola. Julia Grace Gasararo. Ella Ann Gertie. Liam Dermot Gibbons. Anna Natalie Gregorian. Justin Gerard. Thurman Alex Hargrove IV. Yeah, Thurman. Ruby Margaret Hyder. Niati Hotha. Shelby Kaylin Jean. Ryan Patrick Johnson. Hannah K. Johnson. Carolyn Charlotta Call. Jahuai Kang. Jasmine Starlene Casey. Joseph Stone Kennedy. Giselle Nicole Kiernan. Nora Elizabeth Kobali. Marissa Rose Cramp.
Abigail C. Lai. Justin G. LeBlanc. Jackson Parker Little. Yeah, Jackson. Samuel Harrison Little. Avery Grace Lizick. Susanna Evelyn Tringale Lopez. Eric G. Luciano. Tran Jane Lee. Luke Corbin Magdalene. Mark Jove Magdalene. Ellie Elizabeth Manser. Jason Mansour. Maniel Goom Mariel. Delayed B. McCoy. You did it, Delayed. Victoria Hannah McCoy. Anand Bijo Mehta. Bona Murgia. You did it, man. Andrew Martin Robert Milner. David Xiao Ming. Amy L. Marana. Hannah K. Murray. Kyle Musamba.
Good job, Kyle.
Abby Susan Nordhausen. Got a fan club up there. Maya A. Ortiz. Cameron James Pace. Arya A. Patel. Emma M. Platts. Isabella Sofia Portante. Allison R. Porter. Bhuvaneswari Pratapa. Jack M. Prost. Callie E. Ramastella. Timothy D. Rank. Ryan William Rawa. Abigail R. Reed. Good job. Abigail S. Reed. Yeah, Abby. Augustus J. Reed. Yeah, AJ. Benjamin M. Reinhurst. John Robert Richards. Lillian Lena Rogers. Yeah, Lily. Grace Ella Rothleutner. Dennis J. Reezy. Archa Sahu. Jacinda Myra Sanders. Stefan Theodore Santo. Sean Shibu. Benjamin J. Sheffrin. Alexandra Margaret Silks. Graham Bradford Reynolds Skinnard. Nathan J. Smith. Ava Marie Spadafino. Nicholas Emmethy Stallings. Juliana R. Tannock. Rowan M. Tarbox. Joseph Gavin Taylor. Nice job, Joey. Josephine Dion Thompson. Lincoln Harrow Mandrila Vaca. Ava June Whirling. Emma Grace Wilson. Fiona Winruff.
Congratulations to all our graduates of the class of 2024. Thank you again, Mrs. Kern and Mrs. McCook, and Mr. Camo. Graduates, now time to conclude our ceremony. Class officers will now lead us in the ceremonial turning of the tassel from right to left. In recognition of your status as graduates today, would the officers please come forward? At the conclusion of the turning of the tassel, our ceremony is over. We wish you all the best. Congratulations. You can take it from here, Madam